Hello again and welcome to New York's Kennedy International Airport. End of runway 4 left. We are just awaiting takeoff clearance. You might have noticed that our last flight was a wee bit long and involved. And our other flights in the mighty cuz here, the FlyJSim 737, have been short and goofy, as in sort of stunt flights. So this is sort of going to be a little bit in between. We're doing this today because a buddy of mine who flies for a major U.S. air carrier, whose name I will not mention, is based here at Kennedy, and he lives in Western Connecticut, and anybody who's done that drive knows that the commute can be a real bitch. So this flight is going to be the world's greatest commute. We are going to go from Kennedy, and I say that it's somewhere in between one of the long involved ones where I try and figure stuff out, to the stupid stunt flying where I try and do stupid stunt flying, in the sense that this is a very short flight into a field that does not normally accommodate this aircraft, so it's going to be a little bit of a hairy arrival. However, we are going to try to use all the right procedures and try to operate the plane correctly. I am slowly cracking the code of this wonderful, complex, and rich and richly modeled machine. So our flight is going to take us to Danbury, Connecticut, and that is home to mostly small planes, a lot of single-engine planes, some turboprops, some turboprop singles and twins, and a few business jets. The FBO owner has a Cessna Mustang, and he flies it in and out of there. That seems to do well. And I've seen Cessna citations of other sizes come in and out of there. I would bet the odd Learjet maybe, but it is really not built for that sort of thing. Here is what it looks like. We're going to be coming in on runway 26 here, and as you can see, just flip the chart around so that you can see it in its proper glory. There is a displaced threshold here, and the reason is pretty simple. This is where the airport is located, at the intersection of US 7 and 84, and it is surrounded by hills. Hills here, and hills there, and hills over here, and a really beautiful series of lakes and reservoirs and things. This is Candlewood Lake, and there is on one side of it, if we can find it, there it is. There is a little grass airstrip as well. Oh, no, sorry, there it is. Candlelight Farms right there. There are the planes. And so it is really nice geography, but it is not really something for an airliner. So that's going to be our only challenge. In other respects, we are going to fly a SID. We're going to navigate VOR to VOR. We're going to try to use the autopilot correctly this time. We're going to go on the Kennedy 3 departure, which is our right-hand turn to 100. And then we are going to pick up Deer Park here, and we're cruising at 7,000. This is mainly just to lengthen the flight a little bit, because otherwise it would be so quick there wouldn't be time to really do a climb or a descent, and we'd be flying very low altitude. And because of that terrain, I actually, well, I'll explain when we get to this part, but we'll head north from Deer Park, direct Carmel. Apparently it's pronounced Carmel, but sort of like Concord and Concord. 99% of the places are conquered, but there's always a concord in the bunch, or a caramel in this case, or so says a young lady I dated once or twice who might have been pulling my leg just so that I could mispronounce it on a YouTube video 10 years later, because she has that kind of sense of humor. Anyway, we obviously don't have an FMS, we don't have a GPS. There is really no instrument approach for runway 26. There is one for runway 8, which is kind of unsuitable for us, and it's a GPS approach in any case. So we could simply fly 051 heading once we hit Carmel, but I'm going to try and do something just a little bit trickier, and I am going to try to set us up on a left base. So instead I'll fly about a 077, give or take. I think I tried this out. I did about 080, and it got me surprisingly close. The problem is that our scenery is not going to precisely match that map, and so some of the landmarks are missing, but we're going to look for the big snaky lake, Candlewood Lake, off to our, well, it'll be right almost at our 11 o'clock when we make our turn. Pardon me, let me try this again in English. It'll be at about our 2 o'clock when we make our turn, right before we make our turn. And when we finally make our turn, we want to put it so that it is off of about our 9:30, 10 o'clock, give or take, and then start to look for the field. We're also going to look for a cluster of hills, and there are 3 little ponds on that hill, and of course there is a highway. In other words, what we're going to do, we're going to try and vector ourselves so that we can get right about, see if I can find those ponds. Right, these are the landmark ponds that if we fly around this ridge and descend here. So if we put ourselves coming in at around 90 degrees to this, we'll stand a fighting chance. And this is Danbury here, and it's sort of modeled and you can sort of see it. But if worse comes to worse, we will just go back to 84 here, and we'll hook a left and we'll reestablish ourselves, and instead we'll do a right-hand traffic pattern. I think all the times I've flown in there it's been left traffic, but I might be mistaken. Anyway, our V-speeds are bugged. Our engine ignition should be on low ignition. Lights are on, APU's off, everything else is dark here. I am still groping my way through the systems, and believe it or not, this was designed as a simplified version of, say, a 727 or 707 that a 2-person crew could operate instead of 3 with a flight engineer. So our trim is set, and our flaps are set, and should be squawking, and we are. Bim bam boom. And we are just going to manually fly runway heading, and this is going to happen very, very quickly because we're obviously egregiously light. I've bugged us. You know what? I should bug us climb speed of about where we'll be, and then we'll see if we can make it work. So I know you're all counting on me. Okay, that's tuned in. Power is stable. And we'll set takeoff power. There we are. And up we come. Gear can come up. Runway heading till let's just conservatively say 1,000. You know what? I reduced to climb power and I shouldn't have. Let's wait. Now we can make our turn. To 100. And in a moment, we can proceed direct Deer Park. In comes the autopilot, and it pitches us down inexplicably. I don't know why. It seems to have us in altitude hold mode. That's because I didn't set the mode. Okay. And now it is going to climb us up obscenely. And in the meantime, let's get ourselves set up going to Deer Park. Okay. Just cut in on this radial right here. And switch us into VOR loc mode. That should do us. Alright, lesson learned. Engage, set IAS mode, then engage the autopilot. Or at least do them quickly enough that it makes no difference. Let's see if we capture this radial. Okay, coming up on our altitude. Bring our flaps in. Can start to increase our speed, which will also shallow out our climb. And we can start, well, in a minute we'll reduce to cruise power. And now we're turning on to the radial that will take us to Deer Park directly. Okay, there we go. And we are level. And that is Republic Airport. Right there, and off in the distance somewhere is Islip MacArthur. We're going to stay below 250 if we possibly can. It's going to take some effort. Look at that, boy. We are light and we are slippery. And we're 10 miles away from Deer Park. And we are only 34 from Carmel, so we're actually flying past Old Carmel there. cancel that warning. That just means the localizer frequencies on the left and the right, or the nav frequencies on the left and right, don't agree. Keep our speed from creeping up. Let's see. We'll want to depart Deer Park at approximately 350, 349. How do you like that? Just get that ready. Okay, 4 miles away. I'm going to probably turn about 2 miles before. Let's just see where we are with respect to Carmel. Okay, start our turn. Pop into heading select right there. And watch the magic happen. And at that point, we will flip ourselves over to the mighty Carmel and see what's what. All right, let's and we will come in on the 169, give or take. Let's just see where it put us, see how good our navigation is. Pretty darn close. Okay, so flip over into nav mode. Get ready to do our arrival. So let's get our V speeds set. It's going to be a flaps 40 arrival. Something you don't do in a 727, even though you can set it. But a lot of airlines prohibited it because it made the plane foul-tempered to handle and easy to drop out of the sky. Alright, so we're going to set our descent to 3,000 feet, 23 miles away. You can wait just a tad. This is Norwalk, Connecticut right here. And if I'm not mistaken, this could be the lake we're looking for. So we'll see. This is not photorealistic scenery. This is what's called plausible scenery, and it uses OpenStreetMap data, so it draws maps and features where they should be, but if you're looking for really specific landmarks, you ain't gonna find it. Alright, let's start our descent. So, we're going to descend at our current speed, more or less. We'll slow down, and we'll pop ourselves into IAS mode. And And in 1 second, the airplane will go down. And here we go. 15 to Carmel. Let's set our outbound heading. We're going to try and make it about 07. I think I did 080 and I got it pretty close. Okay, we've got about 10 miles to come down 3,000 feet. That'll work. See, the problem with looking for a lake, as you can see, is there are lots of lakes. That's the Hudson River, by the way. Long Island Sound behind us. So we could encounter difficulties. I believe this is US 7, but I could be mistaken. I know that's the Merritt Parkway right below us, right there. All right, 10 from Carmel. Yes, there it is. Okay, so there's Candlewood Lake. All right, so we're in business, but let's see if we can do it IFRly. See how good our navigation is instead of our our pilotage. All right, I'm just going to bring the speed down a little bit because I think we're fine on altitude. You know what? That could be the ridge we're looking for. All right, we'll arm our speed brakes. Auto brakes are armed. Ignition is start switches are on continuous or on low ignition, I guess is what you call it. Bring in a notch of slats, and we can come all the way down to flaps 2. So let's just configure it early. Slow us down, and let us think about making the turn. Bosh. All right, down we go. See, there are more lakes here than Minnesota, for goodness sake. Okay, I'm just shallowing our descent a little bit more. Okay, we can bring in flaps 5. We can bring in flaps 10, I mean. All right, there is the lake. I believe that is our landmark 3 lakes there for the field, but I'm not sure. Okay, we're 1,000 away. Good. I don't want to get too low because I won't be able to see anything. All right, flaps 15. As soon as we level off, I will turn inbound, and I think we might have a fighting chance here. Okay, we'll pull out the autopilot. Get ourselves trimmed out. Get ourselves slowed down. Take a look outside real quick. And let's see where things stand. Okay, there's the lake. And there are more lakes. That's Danbury up ahead, so, I mean, we know we're in the ballpark. Have I missed the field? I don't think I've missed the field. That is the field. All right, kids, we done it. Now we just have to put it on the ground. Gear down. Landing power set-ish. We're absurdly stable. We're just going to come around this hill. I should be more aggressive with these power levers because there is a lot of lag. All right, get our feet on the pedals here. And we're pretty much set up on a base leg right now. And we're about 1,000 above the field. And we're looking for the runway. If I lost it, I'm going to be very disappointed. Did we blow past it? Did we blow past it? Oh, I believe we turned on the wrong set of lakes. No, we didn't. No confidence. Okay. Well, now we've got a tighter turn to final. And down we go. Okay, there we go. There we are. We're at VREF plus 5. Little bit slightly high. And down we come.
500.
There we are. Oh, I know. Nope. Gonna try that once more. That happened last time we almost touched down here. Hit a gust, and I don't know. Weird stuff. X-Plane sometimes does weird things. My controls sometimes do weird things, and I sometimes do weird things. All right, let's try it again. Come back up to pattern altitude. Well, for a jet is 1,500 above. Let's do 2,000. Okay, there we are. Okay, we'll aim for that ridge line again and those lakes. we still have the field. We do. Okay. Look for those hills again. Fly the airplane first. Just going to widen out my pattern just a tad. Okay, there is the field. Notice how it sort of nestles in behind those hills. So we're going to go right out to those over there. Now we'll follow this ridge line here. Okay, so gear down. Adjust my trim. Speed brakes armed. Should be max auto brakes. They are. Bring out our full flappage. Okay, still have the field. There are our lakes. There is our runway. I'm tempted to smoke it down into that runway, right down that little highway valley. Okay, let's just try to get this one down safely. I wonder if I've got some flap asymmetry. I wonder if that's what it is. I've got a little green warning. There should be a caution if that were the case. Alright, so let's come around. And there is the field. And once again, we go down. And this time maybe we can land. Maybe. Get a little bit lower, even though we got, you see that last hill there? That's our real challenge. I'm just keeping the lightest of possible touch on the rudder pedals, barely any at all, just to correct for some wind. Maybe the yaw damper is fighting me. I don't know. All right. That's looking pretty good.
500.
It kind of looks stable to me. What do you think? There's that gust. And birds. Well, that's perfect. And wait, birds, and wait for it, kids. And yes, deer. Okay. All right, you can't make that crap up. It's Bambi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Natureland.